Welcome back to WCS Europe round of 8. 3 down, 1 to go. And those 3 quarterfinals have all been done, but there's still one more spot in the semi-finals to find. It's been a very easy way of predicting some of these matches, but mildly disappointing, Sean, from a European perspective.
Yeah, I mean, everyone likes to see the Europeans do well, but the 3 semi-finals that we already have are real semi-finalists. MC, Jack G, now MMA. Sometimes you can't ask for better than that.
All 3 of them GSL champions. Can't be a 4th one in there because the next one is a non-GSL couple of players. Before we get into that, let's just check the bracket for you. If you have missed any of the action over the last 2 days, this is what the round of 8 looks like and what the round of 4 looks like beyond it. MC will face Jack G after both coming through yesterday, and the Triple Crown winner, the original Triple Crown winner, the son of boxer MMA, comes through against Snoot in the first quarterfinal of today. San versus Welmu is coming up, and these two have not got any history between them, but they have got history in WCS Europe. Let's take a look. San, right now, has the best PVZ in the world.
Void Ray is going to be next to Focus Fire bring down, and all of the probes trying to get through with that Time Warp to help out in aid this defense, but San just has overwhelming numbers. GG for game number 1.
Somebody like San, who we've seen him tear down Zergs apart every single time he's faced runs.
All right, here we go. MC's going to charge in. San's ready to take the fight. Great spread from San. There's a lot of units from MC just at the back because this is not the most optimal position to attack into. And just look at the supply differences. An absolutely crushing defeat here for MC.
Welmu right now is on fire. He just had some great performance all night. He all-killed an all-Korean team.
Welmu sitting pretty on our really making it work despite any adversity. Is just pushing straight for the victory. We began to really start loving this guy during the past couple of seasons of WCS Europe.
And Welmu just stomps all over this, crushes through despite having 5 immortals in the mix. It does not matter. And Welmu smashes this army out of the park. GG, well played.
There he is, the feisty Finn, Welmu, of course, who he's been playing very well recently, but Sean, he's also struggled a little bit as he's gone through the round of 16.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah, so if you hadn't realised by now, we've got White Ra at the bar, everyone. Yeah, okay. And occasionally, just occasionally, it might make a little bit more noise than normal. What's going on here? Are we getting drinks? Are these normal milkshakes? Okay, thank you. Thank you. That's very kind. We'll keep those close by. How is it, Sean?
Marvelous, darling.
Okay, let's get back to the serious stuff now. Welmu has played some magnificent players through the round of 32 and the round of 16. But he has a unique record in WCS Europe this year. He's the only man who has only ever won when always losing a map against these players. He's won 2-1 every time he's won. If you count them back, Starbuck, MMA, TLO, Baby Night. That's an impressive list of players to take down.
Yeah, very impressive. More so impressive is that when he's put in a situation where he's 1 map away from losing, he's able to play the finisher well and deliver. And that's going to be very important against San because at times, I'm pretty sure in this series, he's going to be playing from behind against a player like San, so being able to stay calm and composed will be important.
He's one of only 2 players that was in the round of 8 that hadn't won a Premier title, Vortex being the other one. Does it matter to him, though? I mean, he just seems like he's got over some of his health issues that he had last year. He's come back this year very fresh. He actually looks bouncy. You know, he really wanted to get into these games. He came up to me earlier on when we were watching the first match of the evening, and he says, I just hate waiting. I just want to play now. He just wants to get into it. So with that eagerness and that happiness that he seems to have found himself in, is that gonna help his mental aptitude against San, who we know is a very strong player mentally?
It will help him a lot, actually. Welmu's a player, unlike a lot of the other... actually, looking at the top 8, everyone else apart from Welmu everyone else is looking at the bigger picture, the goal, the winning. But I think Welmu just approaches one series at a time. He doesn't really look at winning the whole thing because no one expects him to win the whole thing. Nobody's really expecting him to give a really good performance against San. San is a god in PvP. But I think that will help him, and hopefully it does. Okay, from San's point of view, we didn't know an awful lot about him at the beginning of 2013, but heck, we know an awful lot about him right now at the start of 2014. His last 7 Premier tournaments, he has only ever gone out as early as the round of 8. That's an insane record. That's probably better than anyone on the circuit right now. Consistency is one of the biggest things that StarCraft pro gamers have to deal with, being able to deliver results all the time at a high level. San is doing that right now. San is definitely a top-tier worldwide Protoss player who is strong across the board. And that's where the consistency comes in, because it's not like he's good at one matchup or he's good at a certain set of maps. It's everything. He's a complete package. When you see the sort of results that he's had, it's kind of scary, isn't it? And you sort of feel for Welmu in a way that he's going up against a world-class player, as you said. Of the two, it's obvious that the favourite is Sam, but having not met each other, does that give Welmu the element of surprise here, maybe? Yeah, I think it will. I definitely believe that San wouldn't have just overlooked him as an opponent, would have studied him and known him. But we, who have followed Welmu for a long time, since the beginning of StarCraft, is that he's always been very good in Protoss mirrors. He's grown up playing PvPs in the StarCraft 2 scene, especially in Finland, against players like Elfie. They're always fighting for first and second in Finland. And last year, out of every single Protoss player that played in WCS, as a PvP player, Welmu, for me personally, stood head and shoulders above everybody else. He played a different style of Protoss versus Protoss. It looked very Korean-esque. It's his favorite matchup for a reason. He's very good in it, and I think he can deliver today. All right, well, thank you very much, Sean. It's going to be a very, very interesting match. It's quite telling as well. I said earlier on that he really is quite an impatient kind of player. He just wants to get on with it. And he's actually been staring at me from the other side of the room saying, God's sake, Red Eye, get on with it. So that's exactly what we're going to do, ladies and gents. It's the final quarterfinal of WCS Europe Season 1. It's Welmu versus San with Kalaris and Todd.
Thanks very much, guys. All right, let's get into it. Another PvP with myself, Kyle Aris, and Todd here. And it's a pretty good one, as we have Welmu, one of the real upstarts in Europe, especially in PvP, here to challenge against a crazy Zealot King himself in Sam.
The complete package, apparently.
The complete package, man. He is the complete package.
You know, that statement, I guess, is kind of true with San, because he not only is good in every matchup, he also is good in every part of the game. Early game, mid game, late game, he always knows what to do, and he has very few weaknesses. The thing is, he's up against Welmu, Welmu is always very, very confident. I have to say, I'm pretty amazed by how confident he is going to matches. When he came here to play in the round of 16, he was basically being super... I think cocky is the only word I can come up with here. I can't find any nicer word. He was like, oh, let's play, I'm ready to win. And going to this match, he basically said similar things. He said it's time to win, it's time to get the job done here, and he's somebody that's always very confident. Altruism removed, no surprise. Daedalus maybe could follow. That's what we've seen so far in the PvPs previously.
No one wants to really be playing Altazim Stronghold. And San, just in general, I feel that he is one of those Protoss that thrives a lot more on those smaller maps. You know, he's able to calculate aggression really nicely in the early game, but his mid-game aggression likewise is also very good with something like, you know, Immortal Sentry kind of breakdowns at someone's natural, etc. if he's able to land those good force fields, which he normally does. And as you mentioned before, Daedalus Point is removed by Welmu.
And Habitation Station was picked by San. Yonsu, I think, could be a good pick here by Welmu. He plays a lot against a lot of Protosses on the European ladder. I think Yonsu is one of those maps with Frost that comes back very often. Maybe two of the most played maps out there. Maybe with Heavy Rain. I think these 3 maps is maybe, personally, for my own experience, I feel like it's the 3 maps that I play the most when I get PvP in ladder. So yeah, Frost, Yonsu. You think Heavy Rain? We follow this?
I think so. The remaining one left is Polar Knight, right? Okay,
yeah,
there we go.
Polar Knights before. Polar Knights is... In PvP, it's been explored a lot, you know. Every location on the map has been proxied with something. It's like, you know everything. The thing is, scouting for everything is almost impossible. So if in this one game, you scout for like every corner of the map except one, because you can be everywhere early on in the game, unless you scout with like Mothership Core, Stalker, and a Probe, but then if you get attacked, you die.
Yeah, it takes a while.
If you miss something, then you can be very unfortunate sometimes with that stuff. So I feel like on all these maps, if both of them, they go into the match thinking that basically they are the better player, which I'm sure they do, and they try to play it safe, they try to open standards, scout for proxies, first in their base, then at their natural, and then outside on the map. It's going to be very interesting, because then you go into this kind of game where you just take a natural, you go up to 3 sentries, and you keep on scouting with hallucination. You figure out what you're up against, and you know, Colossus tech used to be very, very strong, but these days, I feel like it's really hard to win when you open Colossus against some Immortal play. It's actually really, really hard. Everybody knows how to go Tempest, knows how to buy time. And this is, again, an area of the matchup that has been really explored and figured out a lot more than it used to be.
I think when it comes to these two players, and when we get right down to it, San is that guy that all of a sudden, during 2013, really sprung back onto the scene, and ever since he came back onto the scene, has just been so damn consistent. Top 8s all over the place, top 4s, even a Premier win at Aces ROG, in this guy's home country, Welmu, a player that has rose to prominence through the WCS system. And ever since the mid stages of last year, Welmu has stuck around. He's back here once again in another round of 8. And he's planted a flag for being one of the best Europeans right now, because he keeps doing it. Finish flag. We'll go with that one. All right, let's get into it. Best of 5 PvP series between San and Welmu, 2 giants of the Protoss world right now, battling it out for a round of 4 spot, as we have spawning up to the top left-hand corner our red Protoss representing Yo Flash Wolves. It is San. And up to the top right-hand corner our blue Protoss representing NRS and Finland. It is Welmu.
It's funny how quiet and shy San is. Like, you almost never hear him talk, you know, and I'm sure that's his English not being that great doesn't help with that, but in the same time, it feels like he wants to let his games speak for themselves instead of, you know, being big with words and all that. So he's somebody that has always impressed me. He used to be in the GSL. Basically, in the first few ones, he stuck in Codes for a very, very long time, and he's one of those players that has been very good, just like MC, but definitely not as successful as him since the very beginning of StarCraft. And a player like this, you should always respect a lot. Now, though, he's been living in Taiwan. His practice regime, I think, is probably affected a minimum because of that. You know, he cannot play with a minimum of delay on the Korean server, and also we'll see here exactly how he does. I feel like, you know, Linok also went to Taiwan, and maybe he's not been doing as well ever since, especially in those foreign tournaments he traveled to. So San here, he's been out there a while. He's been doing well actually in the local leagues, but here in the WCS Europe, this is where he wants to perform the best. And going up against somebody like Welmu here, he's gonna have to play very well if he wants to be able to advance, because Welmu, I think, has one of the best PvP in Europe. And I know I already said that yesterday about Stardust. I think he's very true as well for Welmu.
And a little bit of a change-up just in general as these builds start to shape up is that Welmu takes his second gas very slowly compared to what we were seeing from San at the beginning here.
Yeah, San is going for... Oh, he's sending a profile on the map. Well, that is. San he went for 3-3 on his gases very, very quickly. This could be a quick Stargate, which on this map is quite good. And going for the scouts, well, okay, he's going to be a quick Stargate. On this map, going for the scout here, he makes sure that basically he doesn't die to gate 10 or something. Like if he was to see a gate 10 now, I think he cancels the Stargates, gets a Mothership Core and a Sentry to make sure he can force field the run. I wonder if San might be able to realize what he's up against here by seeing that there is actually...
No third pylon?
Yeah, and 2 probes missing. And I'm probably going to see a Twilight here out of Welmu. You see, he doesn't have all that much gas. I think if you want to proxy a Stargate, you definitely need to take your second gas earlier than he did.
And all in all, this is very interesting because the way we saw Welmu actually playing his previous PvPs, we saw like a lot of Twilight Councils, and that probe is sticking around for something that I was about to mention, a lot of Dark Shrines, which he didn't have that much success with. So I guess there is a little buffer here because it's the best of 5 compared to the best of 3s he was playing in the round of 16, etc. But so this could, you know, work out, but then also it could go catastrophically wrong.
I think this is probably going to be a much better of a situation than it was versus Baby Knight. When he played him in the round of 16, because Baby Knight, he was opening Blink plus Observer, so it's like, if you play it well, you hold the Dark Templars, you make sure you don't lose anything, and then you counter-attack with the Stalkers, and then you start doing damage. And the build of Welmu was not good against that. Like, he was getting the Robo too late, he wasn't making Immortal sometimes, and every time he took way too much damage, and from there he lost those games. So now, against San, he's up against the Stargate, and you know, hiding his tech out on the map, it's going to be really tough for San to be able to identify early on where he's up against... Oh, okay.
That second Stalker came to the rescue. If it was only just that one Stalker for a while, that Mothership Core would have died.
Actually, he would have killed the Phoenix too, because he would have used the Photon Overcharge.
But I think it's worth it, right? To like get that and... But anyway, he's going to poke him once again, have a little bit of a look around. He still wants that. Photon Overcharge is activated. The Mothership Core does not die for that.
That means the shield is going to regenerate entirely.
Yeah.
And how far did he go? He saw... Okay, I think he saw everything in the main of Welmu, so he should be able to realize from there that there could be DTs. You see he's getting a Robo.
Yeah, he has to be a bit cautious because he hasn't seen where his opponent's gas is going.
It's funny, actually, the Robo is going to finish before the Dark Shrine does, if you look at the production tab. And I think San is going to be able to get an Observer and be fine in this game. If Welmu was to commit with more than one single Dark Templar, and then he loses them to those Phoenixes and few units that San has, it will be a disaster for him. So it's going to be very important that he sends just one. Usually it's just the one, and it looks like, it's going to be just that in this game here. Welmu goes for Blink behind this, and he's going to have a choice in a moment. Does he want to go into a Force Gateway and some kind of all-in? Goodbye, DT. This is like the saddest thing. You know, especially like with what happened, you know, San went with the Phoenixes, flew into the main of Welmu, and Welmu is like, I hope he's in the middle of the map and moving towards me now, so I can do some damage. But a lot of the time, you know that against a good player, there's going to be detection ready and a minimum preparation against DTs. So it's like, I have to send it. I know I have to, but it's probably not going to do much. And in this case, it died instantly.
Yeah, I mean, at least with the uncertainty, to a certain degree, that San was given because of his initial scout, he did... Welmu was able to get his Nexus down a little bit quicker than San as he was playing a bit defensively. And now he did end up seeing that Robo going down, but
there's actually a probe attacking that pylon down there. It's not every day you get to see this. You know, you can't warp in a Zealot here, because then the Phoenixes will come and kill it. If you warp in a DT, you're exposed to it being sniped as well. And okay, San is going to cut the crap and actually send a Stalker down there to do the job. You look at the timing on those forges.
Wow.
Very, very similar. This is what we saw yesterday during MC vs Stardust 2. Once you expand, the first reflex, the first thing you need to do is grab a forge for some upgrades. Very, very quick Robo Bay.
Yeah, very, very fast here from San. So looks like he's wanting to go up to Colossus super quick from here on out.
You know, it's funny because Welmu, in the way that he plays, like, you can always expect him to want to go for some big aggression. And wow, that Mothership Core is like a sickest survivor. You know, Welmu is usually the one I would expect to do these kind of things. Like get a quick Robo, get 2 or 3 Colossus with range, and then all in. But San, taking the fight to him here, he might be able to surprise him pretty well. It's going to be up to that hallucination. Keep in mind, Welmu has only 2 sentries. If that one and maybe the next one fails, to see that he's up against quick Colossus, he could be in a lot of trouble, because the timing here will be very, very strong.
I think unless the Phoenix comes back to the natural, this Hallucinate Phoenix should be okay.
It's in the main. It's in the main.
Yeah, I think he doesn't
quickly.
have enough anti... okay, so it does see. Yeah. So if that Phoenix had been over at the natural, he would have been able to deny that. But unfortunately for him, not the case. Stalker's positioned well here in the natural, in the main here for Welmu to deny any Phoenix that will come along. But obviously, he's only ever seen 2 Phoenix throughout this, so he shouldn't feel too worried about those kind of harassment potentials here from San.
I think if Welmu was the player with the Stargate here, he would definitely have made a Fleet Beacon to try and counter this. But now, he doesn't have a Stargate yet. It would take him way too long to get it and then get the Fleet Beacon and keep up in Tempest production to help encounter the Colossus. And he's not even sure his opponent's actually going to make Colossus at this point. It could just be a trick. So he's going to play it safe. He gets his own Robo Bay. He's going to keep on trying to scout with hallucinations. The thing is, San has double Phoenix. He's going to... he's basically the player with the Watchtower control now. If he keeps his 2 Phoenixes on the top side of the map and keeps on catching those hallucinations, it's going to be very hard for Welmu to scout. And even though he knows he's up against a Natural and Colossus tech, you want to be able to see exactly when your opponent adds extra gateways, takes the third base, takes to Twilight, gets the Templar Archive and all that. So I definitely like San's position here.
He did spot all of those buildings down to the bottom right, so he's going to go and kill those off. But I did like San's army composition just a little bit before, as he had 3 Immortals to 0, but Welmu, realizing that Immortal count was there whilst he was getting his Robo Bay, added on a few more Immortals himself, because I really do feel that they are a strong backbone to any Protoss army, even if there are Colossi in the mix. So Welmu certainly wanted to catch up in that regard.
Welmu was thinking about going for an attack here on these units. You see he moved out for a second, and he's like, nah, there's too much, it's too risky. Maybe he has proxy pylons, maybe he will reinforce and crush me. The only thing that Welmu was going for him is the earlier +2, but by like, what, 10 seconds? And other than that, San actually starts charge.
Well, exactly. I mean, killing off that Twilight Council means that he had to replenish that and get charge started. And eventually, charge always becomes a big factor in these games, especially if an engagement happens in the middle of the map.
It's good that Welmu realized, by the way, that he lost the Twilight and remade it immediately. Sometimes you're like, well, it's dying, you don't pay too much attention to it. You're focused on macroing or scouting, and you're like, you don't remake it. And then you try and make a Templar Archive that does not go well, because you need a Twilight Council to make that happen. So he's going to need charge too, Charge is going to be very important.
Charge is a very useful upgrade. And with this, trying to claim this third in this location, I suppose here, with the way in which these builds have shapen up, and the fact that San has 2 Colossus with range, I believe he has range already, right? And it would have been crazier if he didn't. Taking the gold base after seeing all of this would have been really, really difficult. So expanding away from that is probably the better option here, and San gets an advantage off this.
Yeah, when you have a lead or an advantage and you know you're going to be safe, you have more army than your opponent, it's a good way to extend your lead to take the gold, but you're going to be exposed to, say if your opponent is fearless like Welmu is, he moves in the middle of the map, and he places himself in a position where he can snipe probes on the Natural, especially with Colossus. You can do that from very, very far. Against somebody who already has the Watchtower, getting a good engagement is actually almost impossible, because he sees you coming. He just prepares the concave, and it's going to be extremely hard to get a favorable engagement. You need to have way more army, you need to spread out your units perfectly. And right now, Welmu, well, he's ahead in army supply by just a single supply.
And he might move forward, actually. I mean, he's got a pylon in the middle of the map to reinforce.
Welmu is absolutely fearless in PvP. He moves out at timings other Protosses wouldn't. And I think right now, he probably realized that he's up against a gold base. The more he waits, the worse he's going to get. So he starts proxying pylon, and he's going to want to look to do some damage.
He's looking for good positioning here against this. But at the same time, a bit of his army on this left-hand side was almost caught out of position as San tried to move to kind of negate that. And Welmu has to pull back for a second.
The thing is, San's army is much better in my opinion. He has 2 Phoenixes, which could pick up some units, or even attack. Well, picking up the Immortals is ideal. And Welmu has a bunch of Blink Stalkers, which are not going to do anything in the fight, supposedly. So, army-wise, I think San is at a great advantage right now.
San throwing down that Time Warp a little bit over-eager with this fight. All Welmu has to do wait it out, and then he'll have 2 Time Warps against 1. He's actually just going to go for this. That's a huge wave of Zealots that are forcing a lot of the fire from those Colossi away. 1 or 2 of them shooting away from this main army. And he's actually just going to push forwards with a lot of this. So Welmu, with a great engagement, trying to open a few more Zealots, needs more to reinforce. But he did blink forwards on this right-hand side to catch some of these Colossi out where he could do. It's going to be difficult though, because this army is still waning in numbers. San, with the superior Colossi account, despite the good flank, was still able to overwhelm.
He pulled the probes, but there's still 2 Immortals alive for Welmu here. If he lets these units regenerate, he just killed a bunch of probes that were pulled from the gold base. So right now, if you look at the worker count, San is still in the lead. But if Welmu starts working on the saturation on his 3rd base while he keeps on pressuring, it's going to be hard for San to hold. But now, I don't know, being ahead with 2 Colossi is a big deal, but the thing is those Immortals are quite deadly themselves by Welmu.
They need to do something with this. The High Templar trying to move forwards, but it did get fed back by the one from San there, so really not a whole lot that could have done. The 4 Colossi behind this for San are still ruling the roost, despite Welmu having those 2 Immortals behind that Zealot wall. They melted quickly, and now Welmu is on the ropes. San is able to hold on, and look at the army supply in comparison. Welmu starts up a Dark Shrine after losing it before.
I think he knows, especially since he has Blink. I think one of the only way he can win this now, after having lost this, after getting his Colossus account reset, losing his Immortals, is by getting some kind of Observer snipe. And also, who would expect a second Dark Shrine? I mean, after somebody opens DTs and then you kill his Twilight and his Dark Shrine, it's like, he's not supposed to re-go again or for a Dark Shrine. So,
and he only has one Observer with his army.
That's why.
Although he is adding cannons on every base here, is San.
But still, like if Welmu goes completely with this, which I think he should, he's gonna send a lot of DTs everywhere, and he's gonna be aiming for that Robo, which I'm surprised he's not getting War Prison behind his Colossus, because you see the Robo, from what he scouted in the main of Welmu, it looks quite exposed. But actually right now there are extra gateways next to it in the main.
Well, one thing's for sure is that...
I'm talking about Sans Robo, yeah.
Yeah. One thing's for sure, though, Todd, is that Welmu is having to buy time because the army supply is still heavily in advantage of San. Keeping those 4 Colossi alive with this army, just warping in Zealots from there on out, has been so significantly strong in comparison to Welmu's position, who's trying to hold. Like, there's just nothing he can do. GG for game number 1.
San knows how to close out games like this. When he has a big lead, he knows when he has a lot more army, he's not gonna sit around while letting Welmu come back. And yeah, he's just gonna attack. Even if there was some kind of Tempest transition at this point, because, you know, this was a very strong timing by Welmu, but I'm pretty sure that San know where he was, economy-wise. You know, he couldn't see that third base. He didn't know that it was basically not saturated during the entire big fight that took place. And Welmu had invested so much into this attack. This was basically an all-in or semi-all-in, you could say.
Well, unfortunately for Welmu, his Dark Templar openings aren't really working too well in WCS Europe so far. Wasn't the, you know, the game-deciding factor there, but something ends up contributing if you know, tech and don't really do anything with it. Not too much. He only got his quicker Nexus, and that was it by like a fraction. But anyway, now Welmu looking to go on to Frost, needs to tie it up 1-1. This was always going to be a difficult series for him, but as you said at the very beginning of this series, Welmu comes in confident, and rightly so, because he sits at the very, very top of Europe right now in terms of...
Well, you know, he came into the round of 16 confident as well, and then he was 1 map away.
Yeah.
He was 0-3 in maps, 1 map away from being eliminated. Somehow made it.
All right, game number 2, San and Welmu fighting for that round of 4 spot. San currently 1 game up in this round of 8. Looking to move on to the round of 4 as we have spawning up to the top left, that man himself. In the red, representing your Flash Wolves, it is San. And to the top right, our blue Protoss, representing Neurosoft, it's Welmu.
He's good at Welmu, he's blue. Very suitable. Pylon in the back of his mineral line, again, you know, we've been over this, the new trend that a lot of players like to go for. We've seen actually situations in which players have scouted main bases and they didn't spot the starting building of their opponents, and because there wasn't buildings in the front, they just left. Who was
Baby
it that
Knight.
Yeah, Baby Knight.
On this map. Sorry, man. Sorry. That was a sad game there for Baby Knight, but from here, yeah, you're right. I mean, this is all placed at the back. Welmu actually opted for a pylon and gateway in front of his Nexus in the first game, so a little bit of a change-up.
Maybe it's just because it's on Frost, you know, since it's a 4-players map.
Yeah, just in case.
It's quite different.
Yeah.
And Welmu being the only player going for a quick scout here, looks like it's going to be clockwise for both players. Maybe, man, everybody does it clockwise.
I said this like ages and ages and ages ago, and then I think it was might have been Apollo or someone that called me out. It's like, no, people just scout randomly. Like, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't him, but yeah, everyone just goes clockwise, man. I just scout anti-clockwise for the hell of it.
What does Apollo know?
He knows quite a lot, man. It's pretty clever.
Yeah, but I mean about the clockwise scouting.
Maybe he doesn't do it. Maybe he just goes anti-clockwise all the time.
Maybe his scouting is random. That's why. I don't understand why.
Got to vary up, man. Mind games. Don't wanna get caught.
I say that, but I never put too much logic into my scouting. I still think that.
Do you always scout clockwise?
Yeah, very often.
Yeah?
But you know, unconsciously. The thing is, the point that you raised last time was very interesting, where you said that basically if you get scouted first and everybody scouts clockwise, you should know where your opponent is.
Yeah, just go
and
the other way.
Welmu is not respecting what you said. because he's going to scout in the bottom left-hand side, even though he should be able to realize that he was scouted first and San is on the top left-hand side.
Oh well, oh well. That little probe in Welmu's base has pretty much seen everything. Not really a lot that can be hidden from that. And he does see the mothership core already starting, so there can't be any like super crazy proxies out on the map just yet for Welmu at least.
Yeah, I'm surprised that San goes for this build twice in a row. I did not really expect this out of him. Oh my god, no. Welmu. If you go for a late Stargate against a very, very quick Stargate, this is almost like facing DTs and having 4 gates Blinkstalker. You know, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's not that bad actually, but it's pretty bad.
Danger days, especially since San actually opened up Phoenix last game, and I don't think he's going to go for an Oracle straight here after seeing what was going on in his opponent's base. I mean, he could, but still, I think Phoenix is just the more stable option to transition forwards.
Oh wow, he's waiting. No, he's going to do an Oracle.
Oh
my god.
San, you.
Yeah, I was like, why is he not starting a Phoenix? He has 100 gas. Then I realized.
Yeah.
Okay, so this actually could be quite the opposite of what I thought was going to happen here. Usually in this situation with a very quick Stargate like this, you just get a Phoenix, you fly it into your opponent's space, you see his tech, you see that he's on Stargate, you see that you have an earlier Phoenix, and you're in good position. Welmu, you know what? He's like, I'm going to get my own Oracle as well.
Yeah, sure.
And it's going to be a little bit awkward when these two guys just fly past each other. And they're like, good luck. Yeah, good luck, you too.
Awkward is the word. They've got like some Oracle brotherhood going on. They're actually like rooting for one another.
Yeah. Photon overcharge without a stalker in the middle line for Welmu. I have to say, this is going to be tough.
So, all right. And
he could lose a lot. Okay, San is not going to commit. Did he spot the Stargate? No, he didn't.
Oh, he spotted the Oracle at least, man. Like, or he should have done at least.
Yeah, but I'm surprised Welmu is not starting a Phoenix as soon as possible. Mainly, I guess he's supply block now. Going for the very quick Nexus is interesting. Could backfire though. And yeah, you see Welmu, he sees there is no Stalker. This is the correct reaction here. When there is no Stalker, you're going to get 5 or 6 kills. He actually messed up the micro here. He got just 5, should have gotten 6. No Stalker in the middle line, you fly in. Even if there is photon overcharge, 6 kills guaranteed on that Oracle.
But also after seeing the Oracle fly in, I also like the option of just going for a Nexus from here, because he knows he's on level footing with his opponent.
You do, yeah? Wait.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's going to finish. But if from here on out, San now surely has to pressure. He absolutely has to.
And it's going to be really tough for Welmu to hold this, having used the photon overcharge in his main. How much energy he has? Like 60? Yeah, he doesn't have much energy on his mothership core, and yeah, this Nexus is going to be forfeit behind this. Going to Robo, I'm not sure I understand why, because he knew he was up against the Stargate. He could have just cancelled that. And San is going to be on Stargate tech against Stargated, plus a Robo that's being used. So, well, what does he make out of this? He made an Observer, but it's going to be useless.
Now, Welmu's just getting completely run ragged here. A few kills on that Oracle. The Nexus dies so quickly. Welmu. Not going well for him.
Could go up the ramp. Yeah, he's going to go up the ramp. Lift the sentry.
Uh-oh.
He might be able to end this game quickly.
Yeah, it's not looking good for him at all. Even negating any Stalker fire with this Phoenix play as well is just so brutal for him.
95 energy on that mothership core, but still, yeah, he's already lost so much.
It shows how much that first photon overcharge really matters in terms of keeping it for yourself as well. San here is just running his opponent over in game number 2. And
the thing is, when an Oracle flies in, there's not much to keep.
No, not at all. This is bad here for Welmu. He's trying to hold on where he can, but look at this Oracle. It doesn't even care. It's just going for the Nexus.
One-on-one Nexus.
Probably not going to go well in the end. This one, likewise, also going for the Nexus, trying to get some probe kills from here on out.
Oh, that was pretty good. Oh my god. Was that like 8 kills? San actually behind on walkers now. If Welmu keeps on warping in Zealots and Sentries,
he's
probably still going to lose, but
yeah,
he might have a chance here. The thing is, there's Phoenixes.
Yeah, pick him up.
Still on time. He needs to warp in another one. He doesn't have the gas anymore. He had stopped mining from the gases. No, this is like, you know, a door is going to open and somebody's going to come through it and crush you, but there's nothing you can do to stop it. And right now, Welmu is in so much trouble. He's going to pull the probes, but even if he wins that fight, he's going to lose so many of his probes. I think this is it.
Yeah, so many Stalkers. Really not enough here for Welmu in the end. I'm so surprised that both of them ended up going for an Oracle opener. But San here now, first-person view, microing to victory. Just pulling back those weakened ones where he can. GG, as San takes a lead 2-0 here. And Well, looking good so far for San. A lot of people are touting him as, you know, maybe even a favorite for the entire tournament. And after seeing him play out these games, it's pretty good. I mean, it doesn't really give us full reflection on exactly how good he is. I mean, he is just doing well in these games. There's no, like, special things he's doing at all. He's just playing solid PvP games and crushing face.
Told you, man, San is not a talker, he's a doer.
Yeah, he is.
He just plays and crushes nerds. And Welmu here is in a lot of trouble after these 2 games, you know. The way it went, the second one, he got a few more kills. Going for the Nexus here, this was a ballsy move. You have to be very, very lucky to be able to pull this off against a player like Sam, because he's always on top of everything, the scouting. Remember, it's the complete package again.
The complete
as
package.
Apollo said, which is a good way to qualify this guy. He scouts very well. Tricking this guy, surprising him with some kind of Nexus. I mean, the Nexus is a building that takes a very long time to build. San was on Stargate. Of course he's going to see you have a Nexus. He's like, you know what? After you use the photon overcharge in the main, there's no way that Nexus in the expansion is going to leave. And then Welmu didn't anticipate the follow-up attack. He knew that San was probably on at least 3 gateways, that he had a bunch of Phoenixes. He's like, just going to sit back in my base. And no, you let your opponent up the ramp, you don't force fill on time, you pay the price.
All right, well, let's get into game number 3 now. Our Korean San looking at a 2-0 lead so far. Really wants that 3-0 just to move on and have a short day for him as he spawns down to the bottom left-hand corner as our red Protoss, representing Yo Flash Wolves, it is San. And up to the top right, our blue Protoss. It might be his last game here unless he's able to pull it a little bit back, representing NRS. It's Welmu.
All right, Yonsu, this is like Welmu's headquarters, man. I feel like Welmu, this might be one of his very best maps here. And if there is a map he can ignite a comeback, it would be this one. It's gonna have to be this one, in any case. And as far as strategies go, he's just faced Stargate twice in a row. I think opening with some kind of link play and safer would be better. But Welmu, it really feels like right now, the way he's playing PvP, he wants to commit to something more than some kind of safe blink play with 3 gateways and a robo. He wants to either go DTs or go with an Oracle to do a lot of damage, you know. He wants to get in there. He wants to do a lot of damage right from the get-go. And against somebody as solid as San, it's so hard to make it happen.
And he's really covering himself here as well. He's taking no chances in this final game. He doesn't really scout the full of his natural, but scouts out a little bit of it.
Well, there couldn't be buildings all the way back like this. You know, if you scout like the edges, it's usually good enough. Like he would have spotted the gateway. Maybe not in the very back of the mineral line, but
it's unlikely that it's in that exact spot is what you're trying to say.
Yeah. He's not checking for a cannon rush, but I guess players, you know, again, this is something I talked about yesterday. Players think that cannon rush has been figured out. They think they know how to react. The thing is, there is a few new ones, and the one that we saw MC use is actually very, very strong, but somehow Welmu is not really respecting that. He didn't even check for it.
Well, I guess he just doesn't anticipate San doing something like that. But I was about to question you as we were going into this. Do you think we could have seen something like that? So clearly, that's not the case. San is now just adding on his second gateway, actually.
Yeah. The second pylon placement by Welmu is interesting. This tells me Twilight's very often here, more often than not.
But also, he comes in now and he only sees 1 pylon. So he's like, unless he's very diligent about the scouting.
Which he should be.
Yeah.
Remember, it's the complete package.
Be the complete package, San. Channel your inner complete package.
He just leaves the base way too early, by the way. You should never leave your opponent's base this early. Look, he's going to scout on the map because of what happened in the first game. He knows that there's the possibility for Welmu to go again for a Twilight down on the map. And this was so smart by Welmu. He's already messing with his opponent's head in this game.
It's a cute little move, and Welmu pulls it off. San has the fear of God in him, just trying to scout out everywhere. Look at this, but at least San is also, you know, covering the potentials that could be going on.
Welmu goes for a Nexus behind this.
All right, then.
Usually, if you went for this kind of quick Nexus, you get a Sentry first, then a Stalker. But in this case, Welmu went for a Stalker, then a Sentry. So he's actually going to have a hallucination to scout with very, very late, which he might not even end up using, because San, it looks like he wants to pressure here. Double gateway, he's made a lot of stalkers. He's getting a third gateway.
This
he
is
wants
scary.
to close out this series with a 3 gateway pressure.
Chrono Boost's going into the Warp Gate tech, with that pylon also now going down as well here for San.
I think if San was, or if Welmu, sorry, was on Stargate tech here, it will be a disaster for him, but he's on Robo, so he's gonna have a shot at holding this with some nice micro.
He need a second sentry as well. He can keep some of these units sealed out, but only if that goes down. Yeah, he needs to force it right now.
He's not going to have another one, though.
So
especially
close.
on this map, this kind of 3-gate build is very, very good, because look at how far the gateway is from the ramp. Of course, the units are going to get up there before the sentry is out and can force field. The Robo is going to have to be the saving grace here for Welmu.
Yeah, Immortal needs to be there right now.
He needs to cancel the natural, I think. If he lets it finish, he's not going to have enough money to get it. Oh, he lets it finish. I think that base is going to be forfeit again.
Yeah, I mean, that second pylon was super important there, just in case San actually got up and actually tried to pressure that. Nice force field. Buys him a little bit of time.
That Immortal is not finished just yet. Oh my god, this is looking pretty bad for Welmu here. He's on 3 gateways now.
Oh, especially since he has Zealots there as well. They're going to try and chase down this Immortal. If those Zealots can get on top of that Immortal and keep chasing it away whilst the Stalkers do what they need to do, even if an engagement were to come, because right now, Welmu, he can't engage just yet.
Oh, he's killing the Nexus. I'm surprised San is not getting... I think he knows that by the time he kills this Nexus, the Photon Overcharge is going to hand and then he's going to get in there. He wanted to supply block his opponent and he's about to do that. 48 out of 50 for Welmu. He cannot make all that many more units anymore. The strength of Welmu's army here is if he can start a step against this army of San, but San is not going to give him the opportunity.
Use of the Time Warp as those Zealots move forwards. They want to get on top of that Immortal. The first one will end up falling, making the Stalkers all the more effective. Second one up to the north, trying to get onto the top of those Stalkers, but the Zealot is zoning it out once again. Not only that, Probe's dying. San is looking phenomenal here in PvP, killing off Probes, killing off a lot of the forces. There's not much for Welmu left. If San swaps in more Zealots, I think it could be an amazing. It doesn't even matter what he warps in. He's just so all over Welmu. There you go, GG. San makes it look easy. 3-0. Moves on to the round of 4. An absolute breeze.
The complete package, man.
Complete package.
Apollo was right.
And I'm not surprised. I mean,
I have to wonder, what do you do the analysis on in this case? It's just like... You could sum up the 3 games in like a few lines, and it's just pure domination. I guess 2 words that will describe this series best is pure domination. San adapted to everything perfectly, and you know what? He didn't particularly get fortunate here and there. I mean, he opened Stargates against a DT opener in the first game, and sometimes it can be tough to win this situation, especially if you're not able to identify. He's like, you know what? I'm San. I know what you're doing. He countered it well, got the observer on time, defended. The timing of his opponent, got the gold. Everything that he did was perfect. And in the end, really showed with the way the games went and the score. That last game too is like, I'm up with 2 games. I might as well try something like a 3-gate race. Maybe my opponent's going to do something reckless. And you know what? He was looking for proxy Twilights on this map. I think even if there had been a proxy Twilight, usually when you go 3-gateway pressure like this, you get a Robo behind it in your base.
Yeah.
And if your opponent sends in DTs, then you have the Mothership Core back at home ready to defend and 1 observer, and you just win because your opponent has nothing across the map, especially if he makes an expansion. Welmu again. If he had cancelled the Nexus, maybe he would have had a chance to hold. But now not cancelling was the biggest mistake he made.
Oh well, a little bit overeager there from Welmu, and unfortunately now he is out of the round of 8, but we know our entire round of 4 now for WCS Europe, and to be fair, what a round of 4 it is. We have 2 massive PVTs about to unfold before us when it comes to WCS Europe. And we have champion. We have 3 GSL champions, and we have our Asus ROG champion as well as of late. But for now, we can hear from that champion himself. It is San.
Thank you, San. Thank you, Kalaris, with San right now. San, well done. Congratulations. That seemed very straightforward, was it?
되게 쉬웠는지?
경기하기 전에는 굉장히 좀 힘든 승부를 예상했는데 좀 너무 쉽게 이겨가지고 크게 감흥이 오지 않아요 아직.
He said before the game started, he thought that Welmu might be a difficult opponent, but he's really surprised at how fast he's won these matches that he doesn't even know how to react right now.
Okay. Let's just be honest. I want to try and get some personality out of you because I know that you're quite a funny guy behind the scenes. So Come on, tell me. He was easy, right?
너무 쉬웠지. 솔직히 얘기해.
살짝 그랬어요. 살짝. 일단 1경기는 굉장히 힘들었고 지는 줄 알았는데 다른 경기는 그냥 운이 좋았던 것 같아요.
Okay, I tried to egg him on. He said a little bit, but then he said first game was actually hard. He thought he was, but the other two, he got lucky.
Okay, I'll let him off for that. Let's talk about the first map, because that first map, you didn't see the Dark Shrine early on, but it didn't seem to matter. Once you found it, you got rid of it, but it seemed like you were just being very patient. Was that how you felt about it? You just had to wait?
Dark Shrine 보고 나서 그냥 계속 침착하게 기다리니까 이겼는지.
다크 트레인이요?
In map 1.
첫 번째.
처음에 그냥 다크를 잡고 나서 이 판은 좀 수월하게 가겠구나 생각했는데 그 웰무 선수의 한방 러시가 생각보다 세가지고 좀 힘들었어요. 그러니까 올인이요. 그러니까 마지막 러시.
Okay, he said it was still easy, but at the end, the all-in rush that he did, that part kind of threw him off guard. But besides that, it was pretty an easy match.
Okay, you've had a very, very good run in the last 7 or 8 tournaments over the last 6 months or so. You've reached a round of 8 every single time. What do you put that down to? How have you become such a consistent top player?
지금까지 계속 이제 한 7경기 했는데 계속 8강까지는 올라왔잖아. 어떻게 해서 그렇게 되는 것 같은지.
그냥 한 판 한 판 최선을 다해서 준비하다 보니까 잘 된 것 같아요.
He has the driest sense of humor, right?
He's I'm trying, but no, he's just saying all he did was work very hard every single game. He's just playing, and he was able to win and get to those round of 8s.
Okay, because you're new to WCS Europe, tell us a little bit more about San. Who are you? What does StarCraft mean to you?
이제 여기 유럽 이거에 처음이니까 팬들한테 샌이라는 선수가 누구인지 좀 설명해달라고 얘기해요.
저는 이거 저번 주에 나온 것 같은데 그냥 프로토스 선수이긴 한데 좀 남들과 다른 그런 전략과 빌드 같은 걸 추구하는 선수고 그렇기 때문에 좀 더 많이 지켜봐 주셨으면 좋겠어요. 네.
성격에 대해서 좀 얘기해줘.
성격이요? 성격은 별로 재미없어요.
Okay, so I asked him, what kind of player are you? The fans really want to know. And he said, I think I answered this last week, but I'm a player that, just makes good builds. And he kind of gave me a very dry answer. However, I asked him, what about your character? And he said, my character, I'm really boring.
San. Boring. Really? No. Can't be true. Tell me a secret.
비밀 하나 얘기해달래.
비밀이요?
One secret.
비밀이요? 그냥
Come on,
그냥
one.
혼자 있을 때는 그냥 좀 약간 게임 이기고 나서 그냥 좀 세레머니 같은 거 약간 민철이보다 심하게 하죠.
Can you even repeat this?
I don't know if I can. No,
Okay,
I
let's
can.
try.
He said, when he's by himself and he's won a game,
Okay.
he does ceremonies in his room. That's crazier than the ones that MC does.
Wow. Okay. I want you to do that ceremony here if you win tomorrow, semi-final, okay?
내일 이기면은 그 세레모니 꼭 해줘야 돼.
Okay, promise? Promise?
상대에 대한 너무 좀 모욕적인 거라서 할 수가 없어요.
He said he would feel really bad against his opponent, so he wouldn't be able to do that.
We don't care about that. We want to see it. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, San is your final member of the round of 4. But sad news too, ladies and gentlemen, if you're of a European persuasion, such as myself, that's it. We're done as far as WCS Europe is concerned. We've just gone 1 for 9 in the quarterfinals. And with the post-mortem, here's Apollo and the boys.
Oh, Red Eye, thank you very much once again. Fantastic interview. San, boring, he describes himself. Todd, foreigners, non-Koreans, 1 and 9 in the quarterfinals.
I expected at least the Zergs to do a little bit better. Welmu, I knew he had a chance, but this was some very impressive games by San. Like, you cannot really fault Welmu too much. I don't think there's too many players that can beat San right now. And as far as Protoss, this was super convincing. The complete package, man.
The complete package. He can do anything and everything. What happened with Vortex? There's so much hype. Everyone was talking about how he can beat Jack G. What happened?
I think when we really kind of looked at those games a little bit more in depth, I really do feel that Vortex's strength in ZVT is him controlling the tempo of a game. But Jack G was just like, actually, no, I'm kind of good. I'm just going to control the tempo from the very word go. And then he changed it with dips with the second game, for example. So really threw Vortex off, and he got manhandled, unfortunately.
All right, well, we do have the semi-finals now, so we can actually take a look at the bracket to see who went through the quarterfinals into the semis. So in the semis, we've got two fantastic games, two fantastic series that will be happening, of course, tomorrow. MC versus Jack G, MMA versus San. What are your thoughts? Who's gone to the finals?
These are some really very tough matches. I'm really looking forward to both of them. I want to say Protosses are going to make it, but I think we're going to see some of the new PVT. And I know I've said this before in Cologne, and then, well, I guess we did see some new stuff, especially from Pulse. But I feel like PVT is about to enter a new era, and we're going to see that tomorrow. And I know I'm going to look ridiculous if the Protosses win, storming the entire Terran army, and the Protosses crush the Terran like they always do in tournaments, and we have a PvP in finals. But I'm going to take the risk, and I'm going to say we're going to see the new era of PVT, and the two Terrans might advance to the finals.
All right, would you agree? Or if not, what percentage, what chance do we have of a TVT finals?
I actually think I agree. I think that MMA and Jack G, they are the kind of guys that can actually bring it to these two Protoss. I was saying before we were actually talking about San, for example, he's the complete package, but his versus Terran is a little bit. I think we can pretty much establish that his strengths are. Yeah, it's versus Zergs and versus Protoss. That's where he is dominant. Not so much against Terran. So down in the lower, I think MMA has a really good shot there. So I think at least we see one Terran through to the finals.
So PvP by Todd, TVP by you, MC or San if it's a PvP. Who wins? Who's going to be our European champion?
I think San in PvP right now, without any doubt, would have a huge edge. But to be honest, if you look at the quarterfinals, you asked why did the foreigners do so poorly, won so few maps with just one. I think preparation here was a big thing. They had a lot of time to prepare and go into this. And the Koreans, they don't joke around. Again, they've been practicing very, very hard. I'm sure they practiced a lot harder than the foreigners here. And it really showed again in the end. Well, what do you think?
TVT, baby. Woohoo! Terran! That's what I think, guys.
Good luck.
Terran. Good luck, yeah. It's going to be a difficult one, that one. All right, guys, we have finished with the WCS Europe round of 8, sorry. We will be going into the semi-finals from tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Hope you guys have enjoyed these past 2 days. It's only going to get better here in the Premier League. Red Eye, take it away.
Thanks very much, guys. I'm back down here with the crowd. I'll tell you what, they have a cracking view down here as well. You guys, do you enjoy that? A lot of fun. We've had a lot of fun, but despite the fact that we haven't had a single European go through to the semi-finals. As you can hear, they're very upset about it. I think they're all full of milkshake from White Ra. But anyway, it's been a fun couple of days for WCS Europe, but right now, they're on hold because tomorrow we have the semi-finals. But next up, don't go too far away as we all go native on you. It's WCS America next!